Welcome back to Sims Complete, part of the Bleav Sports Network and brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Check out for all the latest odds spreads for all the action, right? Everything you can think of between UFC fights to the NHL to NBA to now the NFL. That's what we're here to talk about, the NFL. Big guy, how you doing today? What are your thoughts on just the Chargers and your boy Harbaugh and Herbert getting it done?
That Minnesota, they commit too much to try to stop the run, if that makes sense. And especially when you're going against a quarterback. In other words, let them gain some yards, do their thing, but let's don't make it so easy for a quarterback who's one of the best throwers in the NFL. He's no matter what people say about Justin Herbert, he can really throw it. He's really accurate and he can run.
That's right.
So that's the first thought.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about how much they commit to stopping the run, especially because, they didn't stop the run all that much. Kimani Vidal had 23 carries for 117 yards and a touchdown on that one. And I think really what we got to see, right, is the presence of Joe Alt being back in the starting lineup, just giving them energy, enthusiasm, some confidence too, knowing that, their dude is anchoring, right, that offensive line at the left tackle position. And him and Justin Herbert have this really cool, like, frat boy relationship, right? It's just very funny how they celebrate after big time plays and touchdowns like that. It's like borderline corny, but it's great. And Vidal's performance was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Credit to Greg Roman, his patience for running the football. Was running it early, wasn't really paying off a tremendous amount, but you could see, like, as it kept going, just physically wearing out that Minnesota Vikings defense, which I think is, I think they're a little, it seems to me, lacking in energy as a football team last night.
Probably.
Maybe the trip to London, then coming back and getting beaten by the Eagles the way they did at home, and then the short turnaround there on the West Coast. I just felt like this was a team that seemed low on energy, a little slow. Usually we're used to seeing this defense flying around and playing fast and being aggressive. Now, all that being said, if Isaiah Rodgers' fumble is interception, is ruled a catch, and it is a pick six, maybe that changes how maybe the game is played after that fact. But from start to finish, the Chargers were ready to go. They were the better football team, the tougher football team, and owned the line of scrimmage.
My thing would be this. Yes, owning the line of scrimmage. Minnesota's defense, the interior of it, it's just not good enough to stop the run. So they commit whatever it is to it to try to help it.
Right.
That's what Brian Flores does. So are they good enough at the corner position and the secondary to cover one-on-one when you're facing a really good throwing quarterback, and all he needs is a small window? So that was, I thought, bad on their part. Make them drive in a lot of plays to go down the field. Don't do so much man-to-man where you're going to give up big plays. And I think from the Minnesota side, just this. The offensive line just not performing great.
Right.
And Carson Wentz, I don't know who I said it to about Cam Ward. Whatever you do, your only thing you want to worry about in this game is don't throw an interception. And for Carson Wentz, I would go, the only thing you want to do in the game, try not to get hit. He extends every play to the final second, and you just can't survive the hits. And, I feel bad for him because he wants to do great and hang in there and be the starting quarterback. But these past couple performances probably hurt his chances of being the starting quarterback going forward.
Yeah, and it's a give and take right now, right, with Carson Wentz. They kind of need him to play despite him being injured and banged up a little bit, because they can't throw J.J. McCarthy out there, yet. If he's not feeling 100%, if he's not ready to go, if he hasn't gotten the practice reps and all that, so you got to take your time with your young franchise quarterback going forward. And then you got Max Brosmer, right, the young man out of Minnesota. Right. So you don't want to do a disservice to that young man either and throw him out there to the Wolves before he's prepared to go against a Jesse Minter defense that seemed to kind of piece together, right, what they've been missing defensively. And that being said, Derwin James leaves the game with an ankle injury. Tony Jefferson also leaves the football game. Mekhi Becton leaves this football game. So the Chargers still kind of battling that injury bug, but still a good win at home. And defense side of the football, I thought Henley played extremely well. I thought Perriman played extremely well and fast. And just the defensive line in general, right? Mack had a sack. Ibogi had a sack.
He had 5 sacks, I think.
Yeah, they had 5 as a group, right? And so, like, as a whole, like the defense doing some good stuff and coming together. Tuipu Lotu,
Good
excuse me,
one.
just wanted to make sure that I pronounced that correctly. He was impressive too with collapsing the pocket consistently. So, yeah, Carson Wentz, a little bit of the hero ball, kind of betrayed him at times in this one. Short week, all that.
Yeah.
And, I think Greg Roman, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of motions, a lot of formations, just very difficult, I think, for Brian Flores to be really aggressive defensively
Ellen, yeah.
because of the formations, because of the personnel groupings, because they got those 3 tight ends out there. And how about this, too? The emergence of Oronde Gadsden, right? This guy, I don't think is going anywhere. I think he fits perfectly into what Roman and Herbert want to do. And then the other guy, too, that only had 1 touchdown catch yesterday, but they spoke glowingly about him, and knowing him from college, I feel like this is a guy that clearly he's doing something at practice to get more reps, and that's Trey Harris, the receiver out of Ole Miss, who is a good look. Yeah, fast, good looking receiver, can play inside, can play outside. And I think he's going to complement guys like Ladd McConkey, Gadsden, right, and even Quentin Johnston as they continue to go offensively with protecting Justin Herbert.
Yeah, Trey Harris, speed. Notice it coming. I thought the Chargers killed the draft. That's one thing. To talk about Carson Wentz, I think Minnesota does have their bye week next week. They did work out J.J. McCarthy before the game, thinking maybe, but it wasn't what they wanted. So I think it's all pretty much edged out there. They're going to get J.J. McCarthy ready. He'll come in, and we'll see if he can – that sometimes, and we've talked about this in the past, standing on the sideline as a quarterback, there's a lot to learn. And you can actually stand over there and gain confidence and go, man, I see it differently now that I'm standing here and really thinking, not worried about all this other stuff. And I would expect him to be a better quarterback than we saw early in the season with Minnesota.
Yeah, and for all the Vikings fans out there, I'm sorry, last year was a great year. This year, it's kind of going to be like, hey, it's about getting JJ ready for next year. It's about just building this team and just continuing to gain momentum, right, as the season progresses and not let it just completely fall away. So it's all about just the progression of your young quarterback, making sure that he's good, making sure that he's prepared, and getting ready, honestly, for your team to kind of be completed a year from now.
Great thing. That's it. Good way to finish it. J.J. McCarthy's got to show him that he is the man.
Right.
And get out there and have the plan in your head and play accordingly. And that's the rest of the year has got to be about that almost.
Yeah.
And I know they still want to go to the playoffs. They can or whatever, but you want to make sure your quarterback just gives you great confidence, especially since he was a first rounder going into next year. If this year is not the year you're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Good stuff there. Good stuff. And that was fun.
All right. So let's go to the next